Okay, ठीक है guys, let's start and anybody joining can keep joining. As somebody has already put in their name legal, so I'll start with the disclaimers. I'm not a SEBI registered financial advisor or investment advisor. You take it as a sharing of knowledge from one novice to others and treat it for learning and do your own diligence before actually committing your money. It's your hard-earned money. And whatever you decide to do it on your own. You don't need, unlike old time where it was difficult to do it trading, you needed to go through broker and all. On app it can be done comfortably from comfort of your home or office. So keep your money with you in your control, your own bank account, your demat account. Don't need to entrust it to anybody. Don't take that risk. So the risk of actually some investment made and that not doing so well, that is a part of the game. There is no need to do additional risk in that. Now in this meeting, no, I'll because from the time constraint, I'll not try to go into all asset classes and what all. We'll stick to equity part of it. So we'll not touch what a real estate or gold and crypto or anything else, and you should diversify what all that is a separate discussion. That can be a separate thing. In this, we'll just assume that you are looking at investing into equity markets. So what should you be looking at? I mean, what goes with it, what to expect? And then I'll also share my analysis of what can work and what could have worked for me, and as a suggestion. I'll also give you specific scripts and other things. See, in the end, no, stock prices, a lot of people tend to confuse that. You read a quarterly results today, it has done well means the price will go up. And or that if the result is bad or it's shown in, sorry, let me just, hello. I'm sorry, I had to take that call. And I was saying the stock price, for in last 2 days, you take one straightforward example. Tata Motors declared result, some 4,000 crore loss in a quarter. So then what happened to the stock price? Stock price actually went up. Then you had some stock which has grown a 150%, 200% growth in profit. The stock price, what has happened? It has come down. It can happen. The reason is that it is not the stock markets or price doesn't react based on news. It moves up or down based on anticipation of something happening. So a bad result or a loss would have been expected in Tata Motors. So it may be that instead of 4,000 crores, if the loss was 6,000 crore, then probably the share could have gone down further. And if the loss was only 3,000 crore, probably share should have jumped up much more, like that. And I'm just making it simplistic in a quarter level, but at a high level, it is much further horizons. Any stock investment or valuation, people will be looking at, to start with, 2-3 year forward earnings. What would be the earnings in 2024, 25, and based on that, give certain multiples. So it's like you're buying that business. So when you're buying that business, you try to understand what would it be worth in future, and then put a reasonable amount of money to that. And if something is in a great demand, then you would give more multiples to buy that asset. And if it is a regular thing or not so much, then the multiples will be lower. In a way, as most people understand real estate, you look at it that, say you are looking at a piece of land. Somebody tells you, or you hear news or rumors that there's an airport that is going to come near that. As at that point, there is no announcement also made. It's not official. It may be at best a rumor. But you are aware that the government is looking to build a new airport, so they're looking for areas. So if somebody is saying here, or you have a reasonable belief that the site you are looking at, that is where near to the airport that is going to come up, you go ahead and buy. So you pay a little premium, but it is much. If somebody waits for the announcement to be made, between that where that rumor start floating to actual announcement, price gap may be X. If X was the beginning price, it might have gone to 2X or 3X. I'm just making a simplistic example. And then government gives a timeline, work starts. Building airport may take 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. You wait for actually airport to be built, because till then there is nothing has changed in that ground. That's a piece of land. So airport is not yet there. Why should the price go up? You wait. By the time actually airport is there, the price has gone up 10 times. And after the airport has come, so what is the big deal? Airport is there and all around area is yet to develop. There's nothing around. You wait furthermore, it would go double again. By the time you see actually life all around that airport, some commercial activities coming up, some residential areas coming up. So a smart investor, if you identified something, you don't wait for things to happen and then try to buy. The same like, and if you, but the risk remains that if you made a bad call and if you expect something, airport goes on the other side of the city, it is little left, right, it okay, doesn't matter. But it's on the other side, you bought land in north of a city and the airport is announced in the south of the city, then actually you may not get the benefit that you're looking at. So those risks would be there. But the risk of that is probably you rather than not waiting for the final announcement and all, you're able, if you're able to get a 10x returns, you would rather go for that risk. And maybe if it doesn't happen, lose that 10%, 20%. And in real estate and all, it's not liquid. It's not that you can't sell same day or you'll have to find a buyer. It may take time. There may not be liquidity, market condition, all of that. In the shares, at least one point is clear, there is a liquidity. If you find something wrong with a stock, almost most of the time you'll be able to exit the very next day, and money will be in your bank on T+2. Right, you sell today, day after money will be into your account. That way it is liquidity compared to most other asset. Other than savings bank, I can't think of any other asset class which will give you money within T+2. By next year, I think they're planning to make it T+1. That is, if you sell with today, probably you'll have money in your account tomorrow, or if you buy, shares will be in your account day after. The T+1 has been enabled. It may take time. So that is, it's a very liquid form. And two, opportunity is that you need to be trying to see the future. A lot of people tend to make a mistake of looking at the past or rear view window, which companies have done well. You should be aware if you're trying to, you're putting your hard-earned money into market, don't do it blindly or by listening to somebody like me, who himself may not be knowing much. So you need to check it out on your own. You take this as an input and go on the check out on your own 1, 2, 3, 4. Then probably you might recognize or find some factors which I have overlooked. Then you reevaluate and maybe discuss again, kind of thing. So now coming back to, if we take this part as understood, I'll just share screen and put a presentation for important points. It will make it easy to understand. By the way, as many people have requested, the meeting is being recorded. Are you able to see the screen? Someone can just respond. Yeah, okay. I just put the theme as 2022 for the coming year, and somewhat 2078 for trading will have, there will be more trading tomorrow. So idea is to come up with some ideas for that. Just to think of one thing. If some place or something is happening, you have a better chance of success in that rather than where nothing is happening. For example, if you're looking for an IT job, you may have a better success if you're trying in Bangalore or Pune or Delhi, rather than if you're trying in Gorakhpur or Kanpur or whichever, 1,000 such towns across country. Just for the reason that these places are already doing well. So your chances improve. So similarly, when you're looking for investment, if you identify sectors which are going to do well over next 5 years, 10 years, then you have a higher chance of success. It doesn't mean every stock in that will do exceptionally well, but at least on average, that sector stocks may give a much higher return compared to a traditional sector or which is already mature or a sector which is on a decline. So I am talking from a top-down approach. That is, there are different ways to pick a stock or where you want to invest. One is that people say bottoms up, and other is a top down. When you say bottoms up, you look at pick each stock, do its whole research, find out, then see if the sector is good, then see if that market is good and if that country is good. And the top down is you identify country, and within that which sector might do well, then further go down to which now I'm not going at a global level, because we're not looking at this point in this meeting investments across globe and all. We assume that we are interested to invest in Indian market. So within that, let's start the work with which sectors might do well. Why would they do well? Because one may be that they don't exist till now, they're emerging. So from zero, the growth will be to 10, 100, 1,000. Whereas many sectors may be there which are already very big, but because they are big, the growth percentage may be very small. So what are the kind of sectors? I put, I just call them as a themes for investment, but otherwise sectors within the economy. What are those? Renewable energy. I mean, pretty straightforward and common sense kind of thing. Last 3-4 days, we were seeing in the news, 120 odd countries, their heads of countries, getting together one place and trying to solve one problem, that is the carbon emissions and all. What is the major thing that they need to do? One is the energy that we are using. If that is renewable, then it is sustainable, it reduces greenhouse emissions and all this, everybody agrees. Now it is about how do we do that and how fast can we do that. Nobody is in doubt whether renewable energy will pick up or not. It is a given. So it's like it's staring in your face opportunity. And this is a kind of opportunity which is like a once in a century. There are some changes which may be like a temporary. One government has come, that government is keen on certain kind of things. Then you can think that, okay, that sector will do well for next 3-4 years because that present government or the prime minister is fond of that, they'll promote that. That's a temporary opportunity. This kind of thing, when was last time people were talking of energy? It was probably 100 years back when petrol, diesel, all these or drilling was discovered at a global level. Then you had world major companies. So over last 100 years, any country you take major market, within top 10, 2-3 companies would be these energy companies. Be it like Exxon, Total, and a whole lot. Within India, you have a ONGC, Reliance, this kind of thing. Because the whole economy and the country needs energy to function. Now, this is a once in a century opportunity, I'm saying, because from that kind of energy consumption, if you're trying to move to a new space, so there will be some companies which are very small now or medium, which will become mega scale when the transition from a fossil fuel to renewable energy is happening. So in this, I'm not just saying it could be solar, it could be wind. Logically, by way of availability and can be done everywhere, solar would be a preferred one. 70-80% would go into that, and some 10-15% may go to wind. And some future energy sources may emerge, like a hydrogen fuel or something, which as of now, viable or a large scale opportunity is not there, but you should be watching this space. So anything that is leading to renewable energy, you have a winner on your hand. That is, of course, within that, there may be 10 companies, you pick the right company, you will make a bumper returns, which are not common. If a normal stock market may be going up at 12-15% compounded over 10 years, 12 years, renewable energy space, I think you would probably see 1,000% or 2,000% return in this sector. So common sense dictates you need to be present in this and making investment in this. Okay, I think let me just check. Some people have left a message. Okay. Renewable energy. Next is that other way to bring down the carbon emissions or meet that energy gap need is reduce the consumption of fossil fuel. So how do you do that? A lot of energy consumption happens in one power sector, that is creating power, and the other is consumption like in vehicles. So there is an urgent need to move towards electric vehicle. So this fast is picking up. I mean, we don't need to see whether it is already happening or not. You know, Tesla and you have Elon Musk, has become the richest in the world. Obviously, electric vehicle is already happening. India may be like few years behind in the time, but it's we are moving full ahead in that. And there is a constant time pressure that how fast can we do. Even our own government recognizes that we need to get do this faster. So they're putting incentives, subsidies, a whole lot of things, whatever they can. It may take some years, but then it is happening. So it is actually opportunity is good. If it is already done, for example, automobile industry is already there, mature. So you won't find a stock which will give you 10x or 20x returns in automobile, because they'll go at 10%, 20% kind of thing. But if you're able to identify a right electric vehicle stock, there's no reason why you can't make 20x, 30x in next 10 years. Of course, that's qualifying it with if you're able to get the right pick. So, but at least this is where you should be fishing and looking for it to invest. Next is this Make in India, that is to promote the manufacturing sector. Along with this, I'll also link the world is also with the COVID realized that there have been a lot of supply chain issues. And because of COVID, if there is a lockdown in China or somewhere else, it is applying a global supply chain, manufacturing, all economies and all. And also China is being seen as a threat to the world order. So they would want to contain it. But manufacturing there is too big to say, okay, no, we'll not import from China. It can't happen overnight. So that's where people are just starting that, okay, at least have China plus one to start with. That is, you're manufacturing say, chips, do it in China, but also do it somewhere else. You're getting textiles from China, also have another market. That way, India is positioned well that if the government puts in right policies, which it seems to be doing, then a lot of companies would start manufacturing in India. It will lead to huge economic growth here. And that is the opportunity you should be looking at. I mean, I'm continuing to talk. So anywhere anybody has a point, please feel free to unmute and say. And somebody has put a chat message. Okay, right. Then next is the 5G. Telecom itself is an opportunity, as in it's growing and growing. Data consumption is increasing every day, and it will only go up. Even now, only half the Indians have access to smartphone. It will increase further. And then 5G is being tested. It will have a much faster internet speed. Faster internet speed will have its own, say, apps and utilization that we can't even think of at this point of time. So you need to be identifying which are the ones to gain from that sector. If you noticed, I'm not talking of regular sectors which are already there. Like everybody knows steel, cement, real estate, construction, infrastructure. These are all been there for many decades. I'm looking at where major change, major disruption is happening, because the real wealth will be created here. In other sectors, there may be very large companies already. They may be Tata Steel or JSW and a whole lot of them. They're there. They won't become 10x bigger. Whereas here, the companies which are non-existent or very small can become 10x, 20x, 100x from here. So if we keep looking at Infosys was so small 30 years back, now it has grown this much. Similarly, Asian Paint was 20 rupees. It is now these many bonuses and all these many returns. All those stories we can keep reading. It is not going to help you. And if you put in those stocks, you will not get that kind of return because they have already grown to very big size. But if you find right stocks in these sectors, these can be the stocks which the future generation will talk about as a big opportunity. People who invested in this have got phenomenal wealth. You want to be there rather than just doing a library study. Digital companies. So this is a next step from a IT. All of us are aware of information technology company, that is IT services, outsourcing, which Indian companies have been doing. And now it is going to a next level, where a level of automation, artificial intelligence, machine learning, those kind of things, which where the companies can deliver much faster services. So within this, what we understand as IT companies, those which have a digital solutions, they're growing much faster. And in the market also, these are the companies which have given phenomenal returns. So you need to identify right companies in the digital space and invest in that. E-commerce has been there for last 10-15 years or 20 years, but hasn't matured. Now we are seeing the maturing of this industry, and you're seeing many large companies, IPOs coming up, and those already listed e-commerce companies are doing extremely well. So this is another space which need to watch. World over, there are very large e-commerce companies. Every country has got mega company. This is a new opportunity. There is somebody in the way. Atmanirbhar Bharat, what we talk, within that I'm specifically putting focus to defense manufacturing. Till this government has changed the policies, defense manufacturing was seen as a proprietary right of say ordnance factory or DRDO or some PSU companies, which they could never deliver. Instead, what happened is that all these decades we kept importing, spending precious foreign exchange reserves to import weapons, whereas we didn't permit our companies which had which have the capability to do that. So the industry never grew. Now they are very proactively promoting that. So you identify right companies in this. Here we could be seeing some mega corporates emerging from within defense manufacturing sector. Gas. This is something which you wouldn't have heard anybody talk about. One reason is that why I put this here is, if you somebody remembered this year's budget when it was presented, there are few cities in this country where there is a piped gas to homes. Like Delhi is there and some other cities are there, but very few. Most of the country, then you also only have those gas cylinders being shipped from one place to other, which will be changing. Government has announced intention to provide this piped gas in 300 cities. Also, we as a country want to move to gas-based economy rather than, now we are like a petrol diesel economy. Everything moves on that. Gas is cheaper, it is cleaner. It is not as clean as an electric vehicle, but say pollution is much lesser on gas compared to petrol and diesel. So from both the commercial side as well as a home supply, gas is going to be large opportunities. In this, the good part is if a company gets a say access to or rights to provide piped gas to homes, it's like every month they get a billing. You spend the gas, you pay for that. So that's a great business. So you need to be identifying right companies in that space. The last one I put, of course, very fundamental to life is water. But in this case, the policy government has announced is that I forget the name, Nal Se Jal or something. Basically, give a piped water connection to every home in the country. That's a huge dream and worthy dream. Rarely you find people not having access to proper water. We have been living with that kind of scenario, but if things are changing, then there is a huge, besides a feel good and human angle, there's a great business opportunity. If you have to give piped water to every home, you need to lay pipes connecting cities, towns, villages, within that piping to each home. So there is some industries which will from a small or medium go to mega scale because of this opportunity. Because anything that you're doing for Indian say ecosystem, scale will be large, and of course margins will be small because of our cost structure. But you need to be aware of this opportunity. So here I didn't go into detail because each one we can spend a lot of time analyzing and discussing, but I just try to put pointers so that you also can do your own study and a deeper study on each of that and come up with your own. And next I will just go to some of the companies which cater to these themes, which I would recommend. Just a second, please.
Before you go to the companies of each of these specific, would you like to throw some light on insurance?
Yeah, yeah. Give me a second, please.
Meanwhile,
Insurance is a good point. It is very valid in the sense our insurance penetration or coverage is very less at this point of time. It has to grow exponentially. So some of the companies will grow very big in that space. Just only this year and next year, I'm little skeptical about the performance. It's more a local reason and temporary reason because there have been massive disruptions and say cost that these companies are incurring in this point of time. This is a temporary. You can, on a long-term perspective, of course, you can have both life as well as general insurance into portfolio. They'll be big. And other thing is common sense, which is already there, is financials. If economy is to grow from a 3 trillion to 5 trillion and later to go further, it goes with it. You need very large banks and a number of them. So there is an opportunity there. I mean, there are a lot of other things which will grow. You can even say more people are investing in stocks. So there is a companies like which give a demat account. The stock broking companies will grow. Similarly, those which are registrars for this kind of thing, they will grow. All of them are there. I'm just trying to put it where I think we can have a much faster attraction. By no way does it mean that others don't have a opportunity or they won't grow. They all will grow. But I think these will grow faster than anything else. And within that also, we need to, in the end, you won't be investing in a sector, we'll be investing in a stock. Get into. While doing that, I just couple of things I want to bring your thoughts to. A lot of times what happens is a sector may grow. And for example, telecom. But if you are invested in telecom companies, there is a 80% chance that your money, you lost a lot of money. Because 10, 12 companies started in telecom, except 2 or 3, everybody else has gone bankrupt. It's not that they lost money, something, they are entirely wiped out. So you know all those companies which were there over last 10, 15 years. So if you're betting directly on this, probably if you picked 7 out of those 10, it would have given you 0 or whole capital could have been wiped out. And those which are surviving, maybe Jio and Airtel, the third Vodafone is on a life support. So you see the risk sector has grown phenomenally, but have investors made money in there? Not so much. So if such a scenario is there, if you can identify something which is rather than why it is that is telecom is a very capital intensive industry. That is, you need to put a whole lot of money into that, very, very big amounts of money. So that money comes with a cost. And then there is it is also highly say monitored sector or controlled sector by the government with policy changes. All those risks are there, corruption charges, all of that affected this industry. So but if there is some say company which was providing, which is a vendor to these companies rather than directly in a telecom space, they probably could make more of sense. So always it need not be a direct play on something. You could be doing something on as an indirect play on a particular sector and probably make more money at a lesser risk. So we'll try and see such opportunities also if we can find some. I mean, before we start this, I mean, anything else anybody wants to say? Okay, now there are few companies which have already been putting into the group. I mean, 6 months back, 1 year back, and in fact, in other group 2 years back. Based on the list which I had 10, 11 now, I had only 4 or 5 sector focused. From that to pick this. Borosil Renewables. So now we talk of renewable energy. Within that, we agreed that say solar would be a much bigger contributor. So that means a lot of companies are putting a whole lot of money into that. Say Adani has been invested big time into that, and it has paid him also dividend. The company which was hardly 20,000 crore beginning of last year is now at 1,80,000 crore as Adani Green kind of thing. So even I was lucky to be able to recommend this Adani Green beginning of last year, and it gave 900% return in 4-5 months time. But now this year, say Mukesh Ambani jumped into the thing and he announced he's investing 75,000 crores into renewable energy. Within that, solar interest is shown by when they bought out Sterling Wilson Solar. That is the contractors for that. So what that means now, Adani has announced doubling that investment, and now Tatas are big time into that. So now there will be 10-20 other people. And power is also sector, especially solar, is a very capital intensive. You need to spend a lot of capital money, invest that upfront, buy this equipment, set it up, and then you are getting steady income and from a power through power purchase agreements. So what that means is you have to put a lot of money and wait for return to come slowly. What that means is it's a huge investment. If somewhere some problem erupts, and if the balance sheet is not strong or promoters run out of money, it can lead to serious problems and can harm your investment. But one thing we realized is to make that solar panel, it's not a commodity where anybody and any can do that. There is certain technology. Dharmender, you want to say something? Please go.
Dada, I'm audible.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go.
Just a query about this renewables, what you are talking. Wasn't Suzlon? I've deliberately closed my video. I was not getting your talk. That's why. Sorry, I'm sorry for that. I can come on the video also straight away. But
no problem.
The thing is, don't you think Suzlon was also into renewable energy?
Very much. That is all the point. Exactly what I'm covering here. Some company may be in the right sector, but may end up going bankrupt for various reasons. Just like I gave example of telecom sector has grown phenomenally. We know where telecoms was 20 years back. It was impossible to get a phone connection, and now everyone has got a phone. I mean, this kind of growth, what has happened? 7 out of 10 telecom companies went bust. They were bankrupt. Right? Same way, Suzlon had great technology. They are leader in that say wind energy sector. They have the manufacturing ability, technology, everything. But they had some wrong management decision. They went over aggressive. They made acquisitions in India, abroad. So the loans increased. At some point, they were not able to service the loans. So they had to go into bankruptcy. Now banks have built a structure for them. So what I need to understand is the sector may be growing, doesn't mean that every company will be able to handle that. So that's where I'm trying to point to, can we have a play on that sector without actually directly say investing into power generation? Because you have to set up a say 1 gigawatt or 500 megawatt of power, you need few thousand crores. The companies need to invest it upfront. Only then in 100 crores kind of thing, revenue will start coming in month after month and quarter yearly thing. So here why I picked Borosil Renewables is that they are not into setting up renewable energy plants. So they don't need to make that kind of investment, spend thousands of crores to set up this power plant. Tatas may do that, Adani may do, Ambani may do, someone else or 10 other players, some foreign companies also will come and do that. But setting up that solar plant requires those solar panels. So within that solar panel, one key component is the fine glass. It's not a normal regular glass which anybody can manufacture. It is of a particular thickness and of a particular technical nature. Only at this point, this company is manufacturing. What does that mean? If 75,000 crore is being invested by Ambani or a 1 lakh crore by Adani, some X amount by Tatas and 100 crore by somebody else, all of them are going to buy some part of that from Borosil Renewable. So this is a company which is a direct play on renewable energy without carrying the risks of capital intensive setting up those power plants or solar parks, as they call it. So this is a call. I mean, yeah, if I invest directly in a Adani Renewable, it went up fast. But at the same time, the debt to equity is almost highest in the stock market. So at some point, I feared maybe it won't be easy even for Adani to manage that kind of thing. Yeah, tomorrow he brings in some investment and all, can do. So here my point is not that none of these direct power companies won't make money. So I'm just trying to hedge my risk. Adani and Ambani start fighting with each other. Usually when two giants fight, at least one may suffer loss, and for them it is okay, but we'll get crushed in that. So let them do that. If they're buying from this company, it's good. That is how I picked this. But there's nothing wrong at all if you want to put into Adani Green, or say Tata Power is investing into solar. So they may come up with a listing of a subsidiary which is into Tata Renewables kind of thing. Those companies you can invest directly also, not saying. But that is the risk. As Suzlon case we have seen, sector done extremely well, but company is ruined your money.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
May I RP for 1 sec?
Please, please.
I'll put it in another words. What RP is explaining us, what he is explaining us is that lakhs and lakhs of people are out there identifying the companies which are going to be future winners, and so are we. But what RP is going to identify those companies which are going to be sure shot winners, that maximum probability. And I'll quote example from 100 to 200 years back during gold rush. Lakhs and lakhs of people rushed for the gold. And who were the sure shot winners? One company is called Denim, the tailor who stitched jeans for those. Another chai wala, khokha wala, and restaurant walas who provided food to them. So here, what RP is suggesting us, all those companies, whether particular theme wins or loses is immaterial. But the stock which we are investing, say for example, Borosil Renewable, it will be sure shot winner because it is providing that particular component of which it has got the monopoly, and so will be the other stocks as he reveals. He will reveal in further in his talk. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. And yeah, in every case, we may not be going only the indirect place. Some places we may pick a company which is at an initial stage where we expect a growth and see chance. We could do that. As I mentioned, I personally also had directly invested in Adani Green. It paid fantastic returns. Similarly, I invested in Adani Gas also, gave fantastic returns. But now I exited from Adani because of some doubts that had emerged over their funding from overseas. So that is where I didn't want to carry that risk. As business, they look fantastic, but because of that red flag, exited from that. Yeah. Next one. Electric vehicle, we all, talking about, everybody is searching furiously. Achha, here I just want to point out, don't do one mistake of anything. Anybody who is making an electric vehicle doesn't become electric vehicle player. Let me explain. Maruti Suzuki may come out with one electric car. What you need to say is, even if that car does well, how much percentage of their revenue is that car contributing? It may be 2%, 3%. So over next 10 years, their electric vehicle contribution may come to 20%. So, no big deal. So you don't treat a Bajaj Auto or say Maruti Suzuki as electric vehicle just because they also start making electric vehicle. That is the reason why, if you see anywhere, it is always some newbie outsider who becomes big. There are automobile companies in America also, right? There's a Ford, there is General Motors, there are all these Japanese companies like a Honda, then you have this Toyota, you have Korean companies. Why is none of them the electric vehicle king in the world? And from where has Tesla come, who never made a vehicle before? Because Tesla is a purebred electric vehicle thing. From zero, they made it big. So usually that happens because other, say, those who have been traditionally making vehicles will tend to continue to hold their market. They won't want to give it up and do a little bit of tweaking. Yeah, isko ek model electric ka bhi nikal dete hain, kind of thing. So they will never give you the kind of return that you get in an electric vehicle. So here I put one company, Olectra Green Tech. So even as electric personal vehicles are not really picked up in India, one thing easy to guess is government want to push for green because pollution is a major concern. So what does government do? Common sense is that public transport, you at least make it electric because payment has to be done by government. You invest. And this public transport also has a major polluting effect. So, and it is within their control. Okay, so what do you do if you are a transport minister or secretary? Why don't the new buses we are planning to buy, this 200 or 500 buses, let's buy electric buses. Bingo, we have a market there. Nobody hears of this. You're talking of Tata Motors as a what do you call electric vehicle thing. Maruti is coming up with this, Ashok Leyland is doing that, Volvo is this bullshit. But this company makes hay because Olectra Greentech you may not heard of, but you need to do little more research also. You can't just pick any company and assume that it will go up. The interesting part about this company, if you are aware, any of you can say which is the world's largest electric commercial vehicle manufacturer, bus and world's number one. It's a company called BYD. It's a Chinese company. That's the world's number one leader. Why am I referring to that? This company has got a technology transfer agreement with them, or a technology arrangement. So all the models of BYD, this company has access to. So what that means is they can come out with latest or worldwide tested models, that is good quality electric buses. So it is all about, can they manufacture fast enough and can they get these orders fast enough? So, which is what they already started doing. So they have a good manufacturing plant. They're doing. There are already buses in use. When I get down at airport in say Delhi, I'm picked up by Olectra electric bus. Similarly, number of places. Recently, I've also seen their first bus for intercity travel. Intercity requires a longer battery charging because within city you're covering short distances. At some place you can plug into charge. Intercity means, so they started that first service between Pune and Mumbai. So what that says, I mean, you count the number of buses that operate across the country. It's huge number, and that numbers will only increase. So, and eventually at say 2030 or 35, 40, by then all say petrol, diesel vehicles will be rolled out and will all be electric buses. So, but now you can say today Tata also manufactures electric bus. Ashok Leyland also manufactures electric bus. So, but what happens? Say there is a tender in some places. I mean, every state is having tenders to give electric buses. Every city corporation is doing that. Assume Tata's get a 200 bus order from Maharashtra. Say bus costs approximately 2 crore. 200 into 2, 400 crore. And it doesn't make any dent in a Tata Motors because their turnover is in a quarter is about 40,000 crore. Right? Whereas this company, which had a 10 crore or 12 crore turnover or going up to 20, 30 crores turnover, they have a now order book of 1,000 or 1,100 buses. Each bus at 2 crore, you're talking about orders book size of 2,000 odd crores. What is the time period for delivery? It varies from 4 quarters to 6 quarters. That is, usually it is 1 year and 1.5 years. Then they also have a maintenance contract. After delivering that, they are supposed to maintain that for 10 years or something. So there'll be some small revenue coming as maintenance every year also. But for a company which has 30, 40 crore revenue, if you have been able to identify that and buy that stock, and they have a 2,000 crore, I mean, you can imagine it's a mega boost for that. So it plays out in the stock price. This company whose stock price was 60 rupees last year, around March, April. Now today it is crossed 600 rupees. So in front of you, you have seen 10x returns. So, and has it reached the fan? No, it's still at a very nascent stage of its journey. It has much more to go. If it has already, I think, reached its peak, I wouldn't have put that in this slide. It is something worth. So this is why this is there. So we are playing the, say, electric vehicle game, but not trying to get carried away with Tata Motors and because some companies have been there for 50, 100 years. Because they've been there for 50, 100 years, they won't be able to make dramatic gains. So you need to find which is not in market focus. That is where you'll get real big gains. And anytime I'm talking of a higher gains, please, without saying, note it also that it carries a higher risk. You know, Tata Motors won't go bankrupt. We don't know this company. Tomorrow it may go. But what helps you in overcoming that risk is knowledge. If you are researched enough, not that आपने कहीं YouTube में कुछ सुन लिया, कोई हिंट करके, आपका मैसेज में WhatsApp फॉरवर्ड आ गया कि कोई ब्रोकर ने बोला कि ये दौड़ने वाला है, आपने छलांग मार के खरीद लिया, without really knowing what it is and why. So your knowledge is your insurance against the risk. So please spend time and effort to research where you are putting money into. And my purpose of having this meeting is also to help you, so you make a more informed decision, thereby reducing your risk. Just seeing message. Okay, I think Samir Kanwar said he got 60% gain in Borosil and 110% gain on Olectra based on this. I'm glad that you took that advice and invested and gained from that. Now we'll go to next. Otherwise, it will take too long. This is again an indirect play on electric vehicle. Sona BLW, it's a newly listed company. A few months back only it got listed. Why I'm picking that is it's an auto components company. There are 1,000 auto component companies, but this is a company which has got a high percentage of its revenue already coming from electric vehicle segment. It's close to 25 to 30%, and it will grow. And their revenue of electric vehicle is not just coming from Indian market. Coming from US and Europe also. So they have a technological wherewithal to gain from growth in electric vehicles. So whether Tata Motors does well with their new models, or say Maruti does well, or some other new company does well, this company will gain, because no car maker tries to make every component. They'll have automobile component vendors, and this is one of such leader. Similarly, you can also add here Motherson Sumi, which is into similar space. I just kept one because you don't need everything. Other I mentioned, there's a financial sector which has to grow big. Within that, there are many banks. You have leaders like a HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, and Kotak Bank, and a whole lot of others, Axis Bank. At no point am I saying they won't grow. They'll do well. They'll continue to grow. They'll grow much, much bigger than where they are now as the Indian economy grows. But you need to find some which can grow faster. And that too, if you are able to do that in a risk-free kind of way, then you would have a bumper returns on that. Why did I pick this particular bank out of say probably few hundred banks that are there? Yes. For any stock, no, I would recommend you need to do something before actually being convinced about that company. What is this? Firstly, read previous 2 years annual report. Okay, a lot of people tend to look at a 1 quarter result and think that they arrive at a decision buy or sell kind of thing. No, previous 2 years annual report, you read that. Then every quarter, read the report, not just the numbers that are there in the balance sheet. So in this case, I mean, interesting, when I first day I purchased this stock, I was watching, I was sitting in a hotel lounge, and there a TV was there. And in that, CNBC was playing, and promoter of this company, IDFC First Bank, his interview was coming. Till then, I had no idea about this company or who even that gentleman is. And on that day, the stock price was 19 rupees, and Morgan Stanley report has come same day, giving a big sell on that. And they gave a target of 13 rupees from 19. There's all saying that the stock price will go down by 35% or something. And then in the interview, he's saying that he sold some stocks that day of his personal stock he sold, and that he intends to sell few more after a couple of days. But going into little more detail, he explained he had some home loan and all, for which he had to pledge his shares. So instead of that pledge getting sold and it will become like a default, he wanted to sell his share because that is the asset he has, and then use that money to pay off the loan one side. And then he also explained what he wanted to do with the money. Then I actually, in my free time, went to study this back. About 2.5 years back, this bank was just formed in 2000, I think 18 December or 18 December, the bank was formed. At that time, they gave a investors presentation, what the bank intends to do. So then I checked where it stood in 2.5, 3 years back, and where it has reached They're given a 5-year forward where they want to be. Where they want to be is a perfect example of what a bank should be doing, a retail bank. They were very clear they want to be a retail bank. When it was formed, it was all a wholesale bank. That is a corporate lending bank. And even their funds were raised from corporate deposits. So from that corporate, they wanted to transition to retail bank. So they given benchmarks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 different parameters. When I saw that exceptional execution of move forward, it was good enough to convince me to go against a Morgan Stanley advice or a big sell order and then buy that. Within few days, instead of going to 13 rupees as Morgan Stanley predicted, it went to 40 rupees. When it reached 40 rupees, Morgan Stanley, I don't know, out of ego or research, they gave another sell order saying it will go to 30 rupees. Immediately stock went to 60 rupees. Of course, that's a sideshow, not simple. So what you need to see is, do a research. What did they promise or what did they plan 2.5 years back or 3 years back? Within this, you can see last 1.5 years is affected by COVID. In spite of that, another 1.5, 2 years is left for that 5-year period. They have already achieved most of those parameters, or some of them, they are more than a percentage what you would expect at this stage. So with that kind of competent management and delivery and a honest presentation, it is bound to do well, and it's already showing. Today, it's anybody investing in banks would know a term called CASA ratio. That is how much of the deposits come from CA, current account, SA, savings account. Why that is important is current accounts, you get zero interest. You don't need to pay interest. Savings account, you're paying very small interest like 4%. So if there is more money of deposits coming from that, then the cost of funds for that bank is very small. And if the CASA percentage is low, that means you're going for deposits, fixed deposits, corporate deposits, where the interest rate is high. That is, your cost of funds is high. So naturally, your profit margin will be low. There is only one bank which has today got a higher CASA ratio than IDFC First Bank. That is called Kotak Mahindra Bank. Every other bank, including HDFC, have lower than this. This they have achieved in 2.5 years, including 1.5 year of COVID. So this has on various other parameters. I won't go into too much detail, but I am personally convinced that this is going to be one big bank. And another good part, market cap even today is 30,000 crores. I think say HDFC Bank is 6 lakh or 7 lakh crores. So this will grow much faster. HDFC will still grow. But if HDFC grows 10% in some period, I would expect this to grow 30%. Straightforward. For at least next 5 years, it will grow 3x at a pace which HDFC or ICICI will grow. They will also grow. So I'm looking for a faster growth, better return. That is how I put this into the Happiest Mind, a digital company. 2 years back, if you are leading a general discussion in the IT industry, that companies were talking that we need to go digital and that is where we have to protect future and all that. TCS, Infosys, Wipro, everybody started efforts to start having more digital side of it. And they would report in quarterly that, okay, now our revenue from digital are 5%, 7%, 10% like that. Now they're slowly reaching to 15, 20%, most of these leading IT companies. Whereas this company started by a veteran who was with Wipro for a few decades and who was also founder of Mindtree, started this company. It is started as a digital company. And it is 98% or 97% revenues come from digital. So this is what will grow much faster than an average IT company for many years ahead. So rather than sticking to traditional IT company, I'm not saying IT companies won't do well or they will go into loss. They will continue to grow, but this will grow at a faster path. So it's a common sense, where do you want to put your money? I didn't get allotment in this IPO, but of course subsequently purchased at around 300 to 330 range beginning of this year, or when after listing in a month or something. And within 4 months, it has given about 500% return, went beyond 1500. Now, little bit of pullback or correction and trading between 1200 to 1300. It will grow much further and much, much bigger. other companies in this space, or like why Persistent System performs them more than other IT companies or a Tata Elxsi, they have a higher component of digital. So, I mean, you need to be aware why some price is going up or why company is doing well compared to others. It's digital, keep it in the mind. Tejas Networks. This is, I mean, within this group, I had recommended this few months back. The price was at about 180 rupees. Not many have heard of it. Some people have already invested that and got a gain and exited. I didn't know it from before. I was a little late entering to this stock. This has got the technology that is required for 5G and 4G also. So it is a vendor to the telecom companies. So they don't need to invest 50,000 crores or 1 lakh crores like a Reliance needs to do, or Airtel needs to do, or Vodafone is looking for funds to do. They make those components, all of them require this. So Reliance also will buy from them. Airtel has signed a long-term contract with them. Tata's have purchased this company recently. After we recommended this company, Tata's acquired majority stake in this company. So the stock ran up from 180 levels to almost non-stop to beyond 540. That is 300%. Now it is about 450 or something. But it is yet to get the benefit of collaboration with Tata's and the bigger balance sheet, which Tata's provide, funding and all that is required. The revenue side and growth will be phenomenal. It will grow much further in that. Zen Technologies is a company which specializes in drones. They have recently bagged a small size order from Indian Air Force. And you are aware, being service people, that there is a lot of focus towards drones because they are a threat as well as can be weapon in our hand if handled well. That is where they have the technology for manufacturing drones also. And more interestingly, anti-drone technology also they have. The whole system they can build, which can intercept and destroy drones. So I think it is at a beginning of stage, and it will grow further. And they're also spending a decent amount of money into research. So they've got some international business also, not just dependent on Indian government or armed forces. That way it is attractive. You must be aware that Saudi Arabia, their petroleum complex was attacked by drones. So all those countries are looking for some protection to that. So this company is pitching there and getting some business from there. It has a potential, but it's a small, very small at this stage, and we think can grow. This is my one of the favorite stocks, Dixon Technologies. I keep talking about it. It is a, I mean, Make in India leader. By no other company in this country comes anywhere close to what these people are doing in terms of Make in India. Electronics manufacturing. I'm not talking of a garments or a textile kind of manufacturing. They are big into electronics because after petrol, diesel kind of thing, fuel, our largest say foreign currency is being spent in importing these electronic items. And unfortunately, most of that money goes to China, who is supposed to be our enemy. But we buy that because there's no option. We don't have the ability to manufacture. This is changing very quickly. And across spectrum, not just one item, two item. They have the, I mean, LED bulbs to large LED screens, televisions to washing machines, to everything. I mean, more importantly, recently, mobile phones. They already have started a almost 18 million phone kind of thing, still small. It will grow much bigger than that to start with, and 500,000 laptops. And so almost every major player, Indian as well as global, they I mean, source from this. The brand, you know how electronics works is every company doesn't make their own devices. They buy from the competent contract manufacturing kind of thing, and they put their label and they sell it in that. So this company is manufacturing for a lot of big brands and got a phenomenal growth story ahead. Today it's just around 30,000 crore company. I expect this company 10-15 years down the line to be a 10 lakh crore kind of company. It's a leader by a vast margin. They have shown the ability to execute projects and at a very minimal or very low cost, and they're profitable also. A lot of companies in that space tend to be having very no margin or making loss and then get into trouble. Here, I mean, I see big potential for this. Tata Power, I very reluctantly added it at the end because I typically try to avoid these big names which have been there because they come with their own inertia. Because Tata Power has been manufacturing thermal power that is using coal and all, and they have a distribution in Mumbai and all. But at least the new boss of Tata, he seems to have the vision and more than that, hunger to make things happen rather than waiting for things to happen. That is how Tata Power, interestingly, is adding renewable energy. So play on renewable energy. They're also working on providing charging stations for electric vehicles. So it's not a direct electric vehicle play, but a support system, ecosystem. So, and it won't be only to Tata. They already tied up with TVS. So multiple vendors would use their probably charging station. They are leader there. Like this, because of these new initiatives, we think there is a possibility that this can give. Already it has given a good returns over last few months. From 90-80 rupees, it has come to 220 or so. Tattva Chintan is it's a chemical company. Why I put in this is, interestingly, chemicals themselves have been doing very well as a sector. I think it is a sector which has been giving the best returns over last decade or so. And this will also gain from a China plus one or a replacing China kind of thing. Most of the chemical companies, that's how they're doing well. But particular reason I put this particular stock in this is that they make one chemical which is a key component in electric batteries or in that ecosystem. I am not technically competent to understand a whole lot of it, but I understood enough to know that what they manufacture is essential in the electrical battery storage systems. So that can give it a larger, say, growth. And you need to understand one thing, growth may come future in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. But investors, when I say investors, not just you and me, typically the smart money, foreign funds and all these, they pick these kind of things and they do it ahead of time. So we as a small investor, if you do enough research, real game and fun is in doing it ahead of this fun, because some company, when it is very small, it is below the radar of these say funds and all. It doesn't meet their investment criteria. So, but it's not stopping us from buying that there. So just imagine what gives me satisfaction is out of 10 stocks I recommended in the beginning of the year, where people were looking as a matka stocks or never heard of any name in this list kind of thing. Within this 8-9 months or last 4-5 months, one company is taken over by Tata's. Another company, say, Reliance has acquired a stake in that, not a majority, but 40% kind of thing. And like this few things, one company getting Air Force orders, and slowly then people start, when it grows to some scale, people start talking about Borosil Renewables, Olectra now everybody starts tracking after it has gone up 10 times. Yeah, it's good, still it is fun. Keep sitting there with that 1000% gain. If it gives now another 100% means your gain is 2000%, like that. Tattva Chintan, that way, I think has a long way to go, but I haven't done full research on that. At a basic level, I find it very exciting. Otherwise, also doing well. So I have no hesitation in putting it there. Once I have more information, probably I'll share it. In this past, in this till now, anybody wants to say anything or?
Hi, Prasad.
Nothing. I think, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Hi, Prasad. So I remember you recommending Suven and Syncom, right? So I am not finding those two stocks in your list now. Any good reason for them to be, taken off from this list? Because I was interested.
Okay, Pharma, both are from Pharma. What is it? Syncom is there because I put another slide for penny stocks. It comes
Okay.
figures in there.
Okay.
As far as Suven is concerned, it's a hardcore research company. So in research, what happens is that it can take time. We don't know. I know they are doing impressive work and there'll be results, but it can, I mean, as I put in the first message also, results can be visible in 2 months or it can take 2 years. So, but when it happens, it's going to be 10x gain probably overnight kind of thing. Of course, our circuit breakers will stop that, but value discovery will happen. So, I mean, they're not bad stock to own. It is just that I tried to bring the list back to 10, and there are a couple of others also. Gland Pharma was there, and
Correct.
Fairchem Organics and Galaxy. They're not bad. If one is holding, can do. But I just try to put it today. If I'm looking at which are the stocks, if I'm starting afresh, where I think can put money into and to give a best result.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you.
No, I'm glad that when some people are following that and doing even notice this kind of thing, which is much more than what I expected from this. Okay, here I'm just with a similar theme, but a few new stocks which we not discussed before. So I thought anybody also by human psychology looks for new bets and to. When I say new, no, it is not that the company is new. I am looking at it new. So it could be that someone else already saw that and a gain has happened. So don't hesitate because some stock has gone up, say 200% or 500%. Should I put in more? You only see whether can it grow up further or not. That is all that matters.
मत खींचा करो बेटा, किसी को नहीं बताना। हर बार करते हो, एक बार बोलते हैं वो, हर बार जब भी करते बोलते हैं ना।
One very important and very critical component for growth of this electric vehicle story is the batteries. Without that, can someone? I'll mute everybody. Then
Harpreet, mic.
yeah, okay. Sorry. Amar Raja Batteries is talking. Batteries is a critical component. Without getting the battery right, you can't have electric vehicle, and whole performance is driven by batteries. So this is one company which got a more diversified and good research into that segment and can do well. But here I also want to point out that there are a couple of big red flags for me. One is that the founder of this company or the promoter, he's himself got into politics. He's in Telugu Desam party. So now present ruling party is opponents of Jagan Reddy's party. They're trying everything to batter these people. So there would be risk associated. When a government gets after somebody, then it hurts and it can hurt the business also. That is a big red flag, I see it. I would rather prefer some promoter who is not into politics. The second risk I see it is that, okay, of course, that's not a smaller risk. Because his son is fond of movies. So I saw these people becoming producers and editing movies, side shows, but technically and the capability wise, this company has got the thing. What I am expecting, it is completely just a personal assessment and analysis, can go wrong. There is no basis or information from somewhere to back it up. I would expect this company to be bought out by somebody. Either I don't know whether Tatas will do that or a Reliance will do that or somebody else, because they have the wherewithal and technology that is very critical to growth of electric vehicle segment. So they can't let that fooling around of promoters in politics and business being affected. Naturally, and they also have a very small stake, just around 20% is there. So if I was analyzing it and making a recommendation to Tatas or to any other Tata Motors or for Maruti, I would say go and buy this company. So naturally, the people with money, they are much smarter than me. So I'm sure they would have identified such thing. And the promoter also may be happy if they're going to politics and cash and get that thing. There is no basis for me to saying that, but it's just my analysis can come through or can go entirely wrong. So understand those red flags if you're putting money into that. This is a play on the two-wheeler, but in the two-wheeler segment, electric vehicle, and it doesn't manufacture electric vehicle. It's again auto components company. you must have heard that Ola is investing big into electric two-wheelers. They're in fact building that world's largest electric vehicle or a two-wheeler manufacturing plant. In that, what does this company do? Small. These electric vehicles also have these lights, halogen lights and all of that. So it manufactures that. And it has an exclusive arrangement with Ola. So Ola's capacity is about 10 million two-wheeler vehicle. So that itself will add a lot of help to this company. And I'm sure they'll be giving it to two-wheeler segment is growing fast in India. Two-wheeler is much bigger than four-wheeler segment. So within that, there is a lot of action in the electric vehicle segment. I think this company can gain from that. What will happen is that there may be 20 people who will come up with two-wheelers. Out of those 20, 15 will die. They'll go bankrupt. Out of those 5, the one will be leader and others will be like also ran kind of thing. That's where I don't want to risk a direct investment to somebody coming with that. But this looks like a safe play, but can grow with the growth of electric two-wheelers. This is again a new listed company. This year itself they listed. This is the technologically most advanced company in this country. They provide technology to ISRO related to satellites. They provide technology for nuclear plants. Most advanced technology they have, but they have been like a sleeping giant kind of thing, not very aggressive in market and getting business. They had some captive business from this sector because nobody else can do that. But now they are expanding the network and trying to grow that. Recently listed, I think they will have a good growth story going down few years. Cleantech is again a chemicals company. As the name suggests, they claim to have the best technology where, I mean, chemical industry by logic, it will be polluting industry. So they do minimal pollution or best clean technologies in that. So it will have its own premium worth looking at. I was looking at pipes, as I said, no water, null gel or whatever that is called. That would require a lot of pipe. Almost every pipe company will make much more money. But this looked like one which is at a small stage, but then has got the right inputs to grow faster. Again, you can look at it that from that perspective. As the government grows that laying of pipes, this may benefit from that. Total, I mean, I put this here because I'm not convinced about any other company which is into gas space. Adani Total Gas. Adani Gas itself is aggressive, and if government is planning to say have piped gas in 300 cities, I'm sure Adani will capture a lot of that, and it will give growth to this company. Another attractive part is AT stands for total. That French energy major is invested in that. They are like a joint venture now, which gives us stability and a greater trust in that. And this is again indirect play on that gas infrastructure. What does Likita infrastructure do? If you want to lay piped gas connections in a city, they do that work. I mean, either Adani or somebody else, they'll give contract to this company. They'll be laying that last mile piping connectivity to homes for the gas. So they specialize in gas. So invariably this company will grow. I'll stop here. Anything anybody wants to say else? Now the last part, I think we already spent a lot of time. This is penny stock.
Last slide once again, please.
Yeah.
I was just taking a screenshot. Okay, thanks.
And I mean, everybody can have their own thought, but say if I'm putting amount anything less than 1 crore, I won't have more than 10 stocks or maybe 12, not more than that. Don't try to, I mean, try to catch every story or everything that looks good. What will happen is that where you're gaining, that will get diluted. We have too many. If your Volatra has played 1000%, it is of any benefit if you are holding a 10% of your money in that. If you are holding 1% of your money in that, even a 10 times gain doesn't add much to your overall portfolio. So keep that in mind. Don't go for too much. And two is that, I mean, you can't monitor too many stocks. It is just buy and then hope that they are doing well or there is no problem with any of that. Keep it small, give it enough weightage so that if your bet is right, you gain from that in percentage terms. Shall we go to next?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, here penny stocks. A penny stock, as name suggests, they're small priced or very small cap companies. And so typically I put it in red is also that it comes with the risk. That is, a small company, it is very easy to say lose some money, then go out of business. Large companies, even if they lose some money, they won't go down or go turtle overnight. It will take a longer time. It will have enough time and opportunity. Also, liquidity is more. That is, when you have a group share, every day they'll be trading in that. You'll be able to sell if you want to. You'll be able to buy if you want to. Whereas a smaller share, there is a circuit put by the SEBI. So there may be 5% circuit or a 10% circuit. And if it is on a lower circuit, you won't be able to sell. If it is an upper circuit, you won't be able to buy. That liquidity issues also will be there. But doesn't mean all penny stocks are bad. If you are able to identify the right stock, that is where it will give a phenomenal returns, not the mid cap or large cap. It will give higher returns. And just a point of interest, what gave wealth to Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is a penny stock called Titan. Today, Titan, you may look at it as a blue chip. Why are we calling pennies? He bought it when it was at 3 rupees, 4 rupees per share. And when nobody would recommend that, and when a stock is down, every analyst will write, oh, this is done, don't talk about it, dusted kind of thing. So he had that courage of conviction. He did the research and then he put a very heavy amount into that. That is another part of it. If we treat it like what everybody suggests to you, penny stock mein bahut chota sa dal do. Yeah, because he was so convinced about it, he put a substantial part of his money into that stock. So that from 4 rupees, rest of the history. Bulk of his money, it came to few thousand crores, came from that. Now, of course, as his portfolio is, 15-20,000 crores, he can't be buying two small companies, two small quantities. So obviously now he'll be putting money into Tata Motors or that size of companies, because small companies can't take that kind of investment, just like big funds can't put money into two small companies. So you play this well, this can be rewarding. But if you pay foolishly, you pick a tip from here, there without understanding anything, put money, that is surest way to write off your money. You lose it completely. You won't get anything back. 100% will go away. So please be very careful while doing that. Put a small percentage or whatever. But once you've done a full research and fully convinced about it. This is my favorite penny stock at this point. I have no hesitation in saying that. 3i Infotech. It's now at 30-40 rupees. It listed at after relisting about 8 odd rupees. And first day within permitted range hit 25% or 250% up, and then been going up 5% every day. I think it will continue like that. But coming to the business side of it, one, the promoter or there's no promoters for this company. It's all shareholder head individuals, small shareholders. Professional management has been hired. They're sitting there. They are able to clear about 850 crore of debt, which was very large for a company of this size. Even today, their market capitalization is 750 crore. Imagine they had 850 odd crore debt. So naturally, it has become a penny stock. So that debt has been cleared, done. Now it is a zero debt company. Now, what is more important is, what is it, why I'm looking at it, why am I even recommending it? What do I expect from this? The professionally competent CEO has been hired. And the CEO at that level, when they're running companies like this, their takeaway is mostly in terms of stock option. That to here, it's not a promoter company. So their gain would be if the stock does well. So he's locked into this and he's committed. He's projecting that they'll go to $1 billion revenue by 2030. So as I told you, what I try to look at is read 2 years back annual report and understand what is the management projecting. Then future quarterly result you should be seeing, are they moving in that direction? It may be a little slow, a little fast, but if the direction is right, then you should give that time to realize and grow. Just imagine today market cap of this company is 700 crore. If he's talking 2030, now that is, if you take out 21 is gone, so 9 years to go, in 9 years. So what is $1 billion? It's about 7,500 crores revenue. If you have a 7,500 crore revenue and on a growing company, you would get, I would expect a market cap to be around 75,000 crore, a 10x of revenue, that is 75,000 crore. So now we're talking about a 750 crore company. If what the CEO is projecting, if they're able to achieve that, it's going to be 75,000 crore. Can somebody do how much X it will be? It's like 100x in 9 years. That is, if they're able to deliver on what they're projecting. But at least we have a company which, and it is not that they are zero or they don't have any revenue kind of thing. They already have revenue, they have clients in US, Europe, and India. Why they have is, this is a company which was founded by the banks. That is, the initial promoters for this company were IDBI Bank, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, and all of this. So they have a strength in that financial IT related thing. So it got a pedigree. It got because of that pedigree, good clients, which they are able to retain now. But just that business is too small, so low because they didn't have much funds. Now with the funds, they've not only cleared the debt, they have some working capital, enough cash in bank, about 150 odd crores, which they will be deploying to grow that business. And another interesting for me is they have identified that they want to be a digital company. So not just get into typical IT services, but be a digital company. So they're investing into artificial intelligence and machine learning and that kind of thing, which is the future. So invariably it will grow. So instead of, I look at it that instead of say $1 billion, even if it comes to $100 million, that's about 750 crore. Then the market capitalization is still 7,500 crore, which is again still a 10x of where it is now. So I'm happy with that, but I'm personally believe that it will be more, it will go closer to $1 billion in that. So we are looking at a lottery ticket here, but it carries with it risk. For example, the CEO may leave and go, or something happens to him or something. But as a professionally managed company, they would take care of most of that. It's actually like you're getting a decent IT company at below par value. So I think you can consider that. That's why I keep referring to this company in my posts and keep recommending it. Syncom formulation, you're asking about it, you can see it here. There's a turnaround and it's gone to profitability from loss, and good factor, form factor for me is that promoters have increased the stake. They put in money and bought that. That is always a good indicator. If you ask about my company, I would know more about it than any of you or any analyst or any market. So if I am putting money into that, then I have a belief, or I know that my company is going to do well by logic. Now, of course, from there, you keep looking at it on every quarter performance, is it improving or not, and then take the call. These you need to be monitoring closely also. If there is some adverse thing, you should exit without getting sentimentally attached to not only this, any stock. Lloyd Steel, I think I posted the message a few days back, that is about it. Right away, what struck for me is that this kind of increase of promoter stake I haven't seen in any company. From 40 something, it's going to beyond 60%. That's phenomenal, all through by cash investment by the promoters. So there are some big story ahead. On the other side, I heard that their revenue now is in a quarter around 7-8 crores. I believe they got an order for 200 crores, for which they need to double the capacity and put that. So the new money that promoter is putting to through private placement, that is goes to increasing the capacity. So it is really understandable why promoter is increasing the stake. To me, it looks like a safe bet and can give decent returns. Titan Biotech, again, it's a turnaround story and been doing consistently well. A very small capital, that is how the share price is high and keeps growing up. As long as that performance is there, you can expect it to grow further. Avantel is again, telecom company. It's quite like that Tejas Networks. Research focused company. They have a lot of products and a lot of patents in US market also. Little known or unknown company based out of Visakhapatnam. And they have good products. Patents give a confidence that it's not just they claiming, but technically people who know that they are recognizing that part, and the business is growing naturally when you have advanced technology products, can do well. The last part is a interesting company. I mean, consistently bad performing company. There was a change of management and they got into two interesting sectors. They come up with a fantastic electric bike. A lot of action in two-wheelers you're seeing is into scooters, including Ola. But they have a bike which looks great. And they don't have there directly. They made a purchase into a private limited company which makes that. They have taken a 40% stake. They plan to increase stake in that to 60%. I think it's called Revolt, the brand of that electric bike. I think that has a potential because now it is at a very small scale. And they're also buying something into drones. So basically the new management has identified the growth areas and putting down there. So at a very low, I think 4 or 5 rupees kind of stock with a limited downside. But if they're bet on electric bikes or the drones pays off, then they can be bumper returns there. But just understand these come with a risk because very small companies and we don't know enough about the management also. They could just be fooling and trying to raise the share price and then sell and exit. That is where especially small companies, I'm very say particular about what is the shareholding of the promoters. In Ratan Enterprises, promoters are holding almost 74%. Maximum permissible is 75, they are holding. That gives me confidence that yeah, they are seriously believe in this business and trying to do things rather than fooling people. Similarly, Lloyd and other places where Syncom promoters increasing stake is a good sign, but not a guarantee. You need to be watching. Last one, I haven't done enough research, so you do little more before you put money into Secure Cloud. It's into again digital products, and what I found interesting is they have a subsidiary based in US, which recently got a permission to list on NASDAQ. It's a very small, it'll be kind of $15 million odd listing, but the company and market cap itself is also very small. If that plays out, and it's a specialist in healthcare IT solutions, and rest of the company, Secure Cloud is into, as the name suggests, cloud solutions, all of that. So we can watch and consider that. I think I've come to end of the list. So anything anybody wants to ask or comment, please.
So Prasad, coming back to Tata Power, right? You mentioned about direct, that is Electra and all these companies which are producing vehicles, maybe 2%, 10% will be electric vehicle. But Tata's story is little different in the sense that they are doing all kind of backward integration from Tata Elxsi developing the software to Tata Chemicals going into the lithium-ion batteries. And as we know that 30 to 40% of the electric vehicle cost is the battery. And that is what they are venturing out into, producing the battery. So do you feel that the Tata Motors as a group has a different strategy to address this electrical vehicle demand?
I don't think it is any different. Anybody who is getting into that space will be doing all of that. It is just because here Tatas have different companies in that and it's publicly visible. They told Tata Chemical to make batteries, Tata Power to make charging station, Tata Motor focus on vehicles kind of thing, it's visible. But any other, say for example, if Maruti Suzuki is making electric vehicle, they would have taken care of all these points. It may not be through different companies. So I don't see that as a something unique or kind of thing. But yeah, at least Tatas are seriously bought into this electric vehicle story. That is a positive, just about it. And two, why I would prefer something like a Olectra compared to Tata Motors is the size. Each of these company we mentioned, I think Tata Power is some 40 odd thousand crore company, and 40 or 50 crore, thousand crore. Tata Chemicals is another 30 odd thousand crore company. Tata Motors is a lakh plus crores kind of company. So from there, do you expect a 10x return? So your point is not wrong. I'm personally like what Tatas are doing. Tata, these stocks will do. In fact, that is how the prices gone up. All these Tatas have been doing abysmally bad. Last 10 years, if you take, the returns are negative or flat. Only just since this new guy Chandrasekharan has taken over, they're putting few things in order and doing the right things, which are playing out in the stock prices. Stock prices always run up ahead of actual delivery. At least they can see the intention and plan, so the stock prices have run up. Tata Motors from double digit come to 400, and similarly Tata Power, which was at 40 rupees, has come to this price. But from here, how much more they will grow? It will grow impressive compared to what last 10 years was, or impressive compared to a lot of other stock was. But if you have a company which is comes in new, I don't believe Tata's will be the market leader or a king of electric vehicle in India. That will be a company about which we don't know today.
Good. Thanks.
There'll be some major disruptor.
Yeah.
I can't figure that out as it, or someone doesn't come across. At least in two-wheeler space, Ola raised its hand and said, I am the disruptor. And they got in a big scale, whereas Honda and Hero, they all was, Bajaj Auto still trying to figure out what to do. They made that investment in execution. So they've disrupted that whole space. Similarly, I had to be visible in four-wheeler. I can't find a Tesla here. So that's where I'm trying to find with a lower risk some play on that sector. And yeah, if we find something like that, we'll discuss that.
Okay.
RP, have you identified any company on cyber security? Because this is one space which every business would be looking forward to in future.
That's a good point. In fact, electric vehicles also would need cyber security. Direct correlation may not appear, but we say you have a driverless cars, and not just as electric vehicles, next generation Tesla cars, they're driverless. Imagine somebody hacks into that, the vehicle can go on its own right, or if it is parked and somebody can steal it without actually physically coming in there. Like that, the risks are growing in every sector. Cyber security is good, but offhand, I can't look at any company and say that this is the best play on cyber security. Maybe if I come across something, I'll share in the group. So if you have something, or if you identified something, you can please share. I can then check it specifically onto that company also. Yeah, it is good that cyber security will have a good story.
No, I haven't identified, but the news item was that the hackers already changing lanes of Tesla in US. I mean, they have already hacked into their system. So that is how people were saying that some US-based companies I read about not listed in India. That is why I am asking you.
Yeah, so we'll look. If we find something, we can share in the group. I mean, as of now, I haven't done that little research or identified anything.
Prasad, my last question. So, you have given a good list of stocks, and including the pennies. Now, obviously, it depends on your risk, where you want to be heavy on pennies, or you want to be low on pennies and higher on the other side. But what is something comes to your mind suggesting that what should be the proportion of pennies in your overall holding?
It's again on, I mean, each individual. I mean, there we need to go a separate way, understand each individual's financials, their financial goals, their risk appetite, and only can put that. You can't give a generic answer. If you just talk to any financial expert or something, they will say, okay, don't put more than 5% or something into penny stocks kind of thing. It's a standard thing, but you make your own assessment.
Okay.
Or we need to understand a greater depth about your whole profile to be even to say that.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, NR. I just wanted to request if you can share the position sizing, of the portfolio that the stocks you said, the first one, which included Dixon and everything. What should be the ideal position size of each and every weightage of each and every individual company in this?
Okay, what I mean, if I was making for myself, no, for example, let me put it that way. I mean, it doesn't mean it is necessarily right for you. You make your own assessment. I would put, say, about 80% into those first list of stocks, that first 10, and
Okay.
almost on equal percentage you can put, and that 20% I'll put into smaller companies, or the penny stocks as we identify.
Okay, great.
That 20% I'll distribute between 3-4 companies, so that risk is not concentrated. So you say 20% gone into spread between 4 penny stocks, because I personally would like to take little risk and look for a bigger growth, and other 80% put into, I won't have too many stocks. I'll have 8 or 10 stocks, which will take that 80%. And at some point we come across something compelling buy, always you can exit from some stock or reduce some holding, take out the money and put it into that. It's not that liquidity needs to be in your savings account only.
Right.
Hi Gagan. Hi Gagan, looking good.
How are you feeling?
You're on mute. Gagan, you're on mute.
Man, looking from like watching this from hospital bed.
Okay. Hey, you say you're out of ICU?
Yeah, I'm in ward, and
Great.
actually my hemoglobin was dropping, so they have again kept me under observation for an day.
Okay.
Let's hope things work out well.
Yeah.
By
Thanks.
tomorrow, and I should be back at home.
Sure.
Fantastic.
God willing, 100%.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Anything from your side?
I've been on wheels for last, I think, 10-12 days. So nothing traded in last 10-12 days. Just before I left, I just cleared off around 20-25 lakh from market. So I was fortunate enough. I have not seen this drop. Quite saved from this drop. But I've been a short-term trader initially. Now I have started now into long-term trading and investing now. Short-term trading is just to get the kick of getting your money multiply in a shorter time. So now a bit slow, and let's see how the things work out.
So that's it. I think we must say thanks to Prasad for taking out time from his busy schedule and enlightening us. Excellent list you have shared, and I think we are quite confident that we will be wealthy if we follow these tips for next 10 years, as you say, right?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Prasad. Wish you all a very
Thank you,
happy
sir.
Diwali also.
Oh, thank you very much, and happy Diwali to all of you. And
Happy
good that
Diwali.
we all could see each other also in this
That's
meeting,
correct.
in addition to
Yeah.
whatever else.
Hi, Kenny.
Yeah.
Prasad, I want to add another thing here,
Sameer.
that in future meetings, whenever you discuss this portfolio, like changing some stock or exiting some stock, we will keep one agenda as maybe paying you back in some form or the other, if the returns are 3-4x. And another thing I want to add here is, moment any of your stock, whether it is the first lot or the penny stock, goes 4x, just exit your capital, and that way you will be absolutely safe and for the future. So that is one strategy that preserves your capital. Prasad may like to say something on this.
I want to see the face of the person who is offering to pay me.
Yeah, RK, we want to see your
RK.
beautiful face also. Yeah,
Yeah.
where are you?
Yeah. Okay. No, I think that's a very good point. I personally only for say penny stocks, not the regular portfolio. In regular portfolio, I don't try to exit or take out capital. In penny stocks, what I do put as a rule is that the moment it goes 3x, that is, I put 100 rupees, it gone to 300, I sell 1/3 of it. So my 100 is back to be put into another penny. The 200 will be still held to ride the further growth. So penny stocks, because of the inherent risk, I try to do that. But yeah, I don't touch before it becomes 3x. And regular stocks, I don't follow that. I believe that a stock is good. You continue to ride. Don't try to take out money from that. Okay, if nothing else, guys, let's take leave. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah, thank you, NR. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Happy Diwali.
Thanks, Anand. Happy Diwali, everyone. Happy Diwali, guys.
Happy
Bye.
Diwali.
Happy
Happy
Diwali.
Diwali.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Bye.
Happy Diwali, guys. Face next Diwali.